Hi everyone, Happy New Year to you all. The New Year, of course, was 11 days ago, or 10 days ago. So-called New Year. It's nothing new and everything new, all at the same time, like I always say. So let's do the chanting straight away. And then after that, of course, some meditations. And then Dharma Talk, continuing what we've been doing, sort of answering some questions in different ways, utilizing the teachings in my book, of which we're up to number 50 out of 50. So the last one. So today I thought, actually, just to let you know, I thought today we'd review the Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, as part of the commentary on number 50. Okay. Everything comes and goes. In other words, or in another way to put it, neither coming nor going. Okay, so now we can do the chanting. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatayampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhisoha. So now we can do some meditation. So get yourself comfortable. Initially to release the tension in the body. At the same time, releasing tension in the mind. So a nice comfortable position for you, whatever that may be. Even if you're reclining, keep your mind upright. But of course, if you're able to sit, keep your body upright, not rigid, but also not slouching. So bring your mind inside your body and release the tension from the bottom to the top of your body, starting at the tips of your toes. So release the tension from all of your toes. from the bottom of your feet, the balls of the feet, the arches, the heels, from the tops of your feet, in between the toe bones, lots of ligaments and tendons there. From around your ankles and Achilles tendons, your calf muscles, all around your shins and knees, and your upper leg, the quad muscles and hamstring muscles, around your hips, hip flexors, groin, glutes, your lower stomach, around to your lower back, and up to the center of your back and up your sides a bit, your upper stomach, and your chest, and under your arms and your upper back, the rhomboid muscles that run between the spine and the shoulder blades. The outside the shoulder blades, you have the lateral muscles, the upper trap muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders. Now release from your shoulders and upper arms, biceps and triceps, all around your elbows, your forearms, wrists, hands, fingers and thumbs. And now bring your focus up to your neck to release the tension from your neck, front and the sides and the back, and up the back of your head, and sides of your head, around your ears and temples, and from all around your face, around your cheekbones and cheeks, your jaw. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Your chin, your mouth, outside the mouth and both inside the mouth as well. Resting your tongue on the upper palate, above the top teeth. Lips are gently touching. Your nose and sinuses, eye sockets and eyes. And make sure you're not frowning on your forehead. Nice and relaxed forehead. And the crown of your head. And now we can scan the body again really quickly from the bottom to the top to see if there's any leftover tension that you can release. And if there is, release it. Just a note here, you can release it just with your mind, or if you need to, you can utilize the breath on the out breath. Take a long breath in and then, or a deep breath in and then a long breath out, releasing the tension. Or even manipulating the body if you need to. Once we start to do the breath meditation and then the loving kindness meditation, try to keep your body as still as possible. Try not to be fidgety, because this will help your mind to be stable and still. And vice versa. So now bring your focus to the tip of your nose initially and follow the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose, past your throat. The air is quite cool as you breathe in on the back of your throat, past your bronchial or chest area, and all the way into your lungs. As the lungs fill with air, they expand, therefore the abdomen or stomach area rises a little. As you breathe out, the lungs emptying, they compress, and the stomach or the abdomen area then falls. The air comes back out the same way it came in, except this time when it passes your throat, it's quite warm from being inside the body. So breathing in your nose, past your chest, into your lungs, focusing on the abdomen area, and then breathing out the abdomen, the chest, tip of your nose, or in between your eyebrows, if you like, as well. Breathing in, breathing out. You can also add the extra technique of counting the breath from 1 to 10. Don't count past 10, though, because we want the breath to be the focus, not the counting. And if you get distracted on the way towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. As you can see today, giving a little bit more detail for the first class of so-called 2025. Just as a reminder, even though I'm very confident that you are all practicing meditation for a decent amount of time, consistently, therefore you know these techniques very well, you know these details very well. So now we can practice like this in silence after this last little brief bit of instruction. And that is, if thoughts arise or any distraction mentally arises, then don't cling to it, don't grasp at it or try to force it away or deny it, but simply and naturally let it go by replacing your mind back onto your breath. And if your mind starts to become dull or sleepy, then replace your mind back onto your breath more brightly. So let's practice in silence for a little bit. Now we can feel pleased with ourselves and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness. Mahametta, great universal loving kindness, which is not separate from Mahakaruna, the great universal loving compassion, I should say, and also Mudita, empathetic joy, and Upekkha, or Upeksha, which is equanimity, the mind of no bias, non-bias, free from attachment, free from aversion. These are the four immeasurables, Brahma Vihara, or sublime states of mind, if you translate literally. And so it has to be based on equanimity, the other three. But of course, we're not perfect right now, so we do the best we can. And as we practice each one, including this loving kindness practice, which includes the meditation, we help ourselves to have a mind, or more of a mind of equanimity, and helps the other ones. But we should do our very best to develop this mind of equanimity as soon as possible. Realize when we do have it, and then work to increase that, work to make it more consistent. Realize when we don't have it, when we have attachment to what we find pleasing, when we have aversion from what we find unpleasant, when we have likes and dislikes and so on. Recognize that and say, need to have a mind of equanimity. We express it in the prayer that we do, or the verse that we chant, recite, for immeasurable prayer. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. This expresses metta, loving kindness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. This is an expression of compassion. May they never be separated from the happiness beyond suffering. This is empathetic joy. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. This is an expression of equanimity. I shall cause this, so we take responsibility for this practice, to develop these four immeasurables. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire us to be able to do so. So let us be inspired by the Buddha, as well as Bodhisattvas and the great masters throughout the ages that have attained this mind of equanimity. Be inspired by that, to develop it ourselves. Filling yourself with so much loving kindness, utilizing the feeling as well as the visualization technique, filling yourself with the white light completely, fully. So much so that it now radiates outwards, initially to your loved ones, your family, your friends, and fills them with the universal loving kindness too. And also to strangers. And even to those that we find difficult, may regard as enemies. Remember that these three so-called different types of people, friends, enemies, strangers, actually is in your own mind. This includes the mind of bias, you could say, not equanimity. So we are working to realize that all these beings are actually beyond this idea, these concepts of friend, stranger, and enemy. Now let's radiate this loving kindness out beyond just human beings alone to all sentient beings now. We utilize technique of going distance-wise, further and further out. So initially around your immediate area, those sentient beings that live on the lands, even the ones that live under the land, in the waters, fly through the air, whether they're born from wombs, moisture, eggs, or through transformation. whether we know about them or not. Share this loving kindness and fill them with the universal loving kindness in the form of the white light. And now also throughout your whole state or county. And other states and counties throughout your whole country. And other countries throughout the whole world. Initially, those you have an affinity towards, also those that you're indifferent towards, and those that you may have some negative feelings towards. And also have your loving kindness pervade throughout all of the oceans, down to the core of the earth, to the outermost atmosphere, to all living beings throughout this whole planet. May all of the living beings find happiness and the causes of happiness, are free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they all be peaceful. All sentient beings, whether weak or strong, great or small, short or tall, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born, may they all be happy, free from suffering and be peaceful. Let no one deceive or despise another being in any state. Let none by anger or hatred wish harm upon another. Just as a mother would protect her only child with her life, even so let one cultivate a boundless love towards all sentient beings, and let one radiate this boundless love towards the entire world, above and below and in all directions, without hindrance, without ill will, without enmity. Now, beyond this world alone, throughout the whole solar system, and all of the solar systems throughout the galaxy, and throughout the whole universe and beyond, until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. Keeping your mind full of this loving kindness, keeping your mind meditative. You can recall just now that I basically gave a bit of a commentary on the four immeasurables to refresh us, remind us. And this is part of the commentary on the last teaching in the book. Realizing too that, or remembering too, that this bunch of teachings that I've given now for more than a year, I called them in the beginning, studying, practicing, and sharing the pure Dharma with pure intentions. And for the last, probably about 7 months, I'd say, we've been covering the three principles of the path, or three principal paths, covering renunciation, Bodhicitta, the great compassion, and the wisdom of emptiness, of which we're up to now. And of course, we've intermingled them along the way at different times and had a lot of teachings, basically covered the whole of the Dharma, really, during this time. As all of the poignant teachings, all of the good teachings do, or does. So I'm very happy we've been doing that. Going with the flow, you could say. Of course, we will get on to Master Atisha's teachings after we finish this. I'd imagine, say, with another 3 weeks after this, maybe the 4th week, we'll start that one. So now let's dedicate our merits and really do it from the center of your heart, from the bottom of your heart, you could say. Dedicating all of this goodness that we've developed now, but also in the past, as well as into the future that we will develop. All of this merit, or accumulate the merit. Now dedicate it to enlightenment, of all sentient beings. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. Okay, so we'll continue to practice now. Practice, I should say, talk on the Dharma. So the Happy New Year message again. I won't sort of reiterate too much. I actually just reviewed something that I shared onto Facebook, which was from 4 years ago. And if you want to have a look on Facebook at things I, reshare, you could say, or repost, then you can have a look at these teachings. I did another one the other night, 2 nights ago, from 4 years ago. And if you want to review that, if you want to learn, about meditation more and the details about meditation more, like the 5 faults to be relinquished and the antidotes and the different stages of meditation and so forth, there's quite in-depth commentary on that. I think over probably a month or two of the 2021, the beginning, the end of 2020, we were on to that as well. But the one I viewed the other day actually just started to get onto the 5 faults to be relinquished and so on. Because sometimes, we may forget these finer details, and these details are really important. It's one of the reasons why the Buddha gave them as, you could say, formulas in a sense. 5 faults to be relinquished, the 8 antidotes, the 9 stages, the Eightfold Path, 4 Noble Truths, 4 Immeasurables. He enumerated these and gave them titles in a sense as well, so that we could remember them, so that we could check ourselves, especially if we get involved with worldly activities, our mind being disturbed and things like that. We can then go, okay, let's have a look at that again. Even if it's the case of you writing it down or remembering what book it's in or what notes you've taken before, where they are. But best is actually to memorize, and get to know these things. And so meditation practice, a lot of people in the modern world, I think it's a world, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but becoming sort of more stupid as we go along, it appears to me. It's just kind of like an oxymoron, but a lot of less truth. There's more sort of distraction out there. There's more lies being told throughout this crazy media that we have around the world, and psychopaths sort of running countries and things like that, and then people following that. It's very unfortunate. Education seems to be on the decrease. Proper education, I'm talking now, in the sense of morality and so on. But even the education from the point of view of, mathematics, for instance, people have been, or the students have been for some time now, utilizing calculators and, of course, computers now, rather than doing it in their mind, or with utilizing formulas by writing things or whatever. So it seems to be the world is becoming more stupid in a sense. And this is, once again, not pessimistic, not putting people down or whatever, just actually encouraging people. It's almost got to the stage now, if you tell someone the truth, even if it's a relative truth of something, they get offended, rather than getting offended if you get told a lie, because they're believing lies so much these days. So anyway, because of this, we need to really practice the Dharma, really encourage ourselves to, get off our butts and really study and practice the Dharma to the best of our ability, because we could get blown off by all of these other things. We could, follow what these other people are doing. It's unfortunate that it's even there, but we should ourselves go, what I would say, against the wind, utilizing that expression, the wind, or the example of the wind, in this way, this time. So the winds are blowing this way, everybody's doing this. This is the common thing to do. We go against it because it's not truth. It's not leading towards the truth. The Dharma is pointing to the truth. These other things are pointing away from it. So important to remind ourselves of that, and not to get sort of upset about it, or not to think we're better than other people, increasing our pride and so on, and ego, but to realize we need to train our minds like this. And as we do this, then actually we can help others through actions and so on. We have to first, you could say, purify the mind ourselves before we can really help others to do it, especially leading by example. And so meditation is very important to still the mind. We're going to have distractions. We're going to have stories we tell each other, ourselves in our minds, because of our habits. The mind will become dull sometimes. But as we do this, just as the instruction and the practice of the meditation that we do each class, even though it's so short, just like we do there, just can recollect the mind continually, apply the antidotes of reapplying the antidotes, refocusing the mind. Then every time it's distracted, refocus the mind. Comes dull, refocus the mind more brightly. And then we can actually practice in everything we do. The sitting on the cushion or however you sit to practice the formal meditation helps us to practice off the cushion in our daily activities and vice versa. All right, so the commentary today, I guess, is in its sense is refreshing us, but also I've given it at different times throughout the actual class during the meditations as well, because I wanted to mention meditation. And so the Eightfold Path, or the Four Noble Truths, first of all, as you know, the Buddha pointed out that all of samsara is pervaded by suffering. Actually, all of the conditioned phenomena, conditioned existence is impermanent. It's as the nature of being unsatisfactory or suffering, and there's no self to be found anywhere. And of course, we're working our way towards what we call enlightenment or nirvana. This is actually freedom from conditioned existence. So the unconditioned, freedom from impermanence and suffering, beyond the idea of self or no self. And so the first noble truth is the noble truth of suffering. Then the Buddha pointed out the noble truth of the cause of suffering. We need to know the cause, this attachment based on ignorance, so that we can work to uproot it and realize the third noble truth of the cessation of suffering. How to do that? Practice the Eightfold Path, the Noble Eightfold Path. So that's number 4. And so that's the 4 noble truths. The Eightfold Path consists of higher training in wisdom, higher training in morality, higher training in meditation. Or most commonly, we would say morality, meditation, then wisdom, because that's how it kind of, in a linear sense, it's how it works, how we realize the wisdom. By first of all being moral, then concentrating the mind, and then utilizing the mind to develop the insight and the wisdom. So the first part of morality, which is the third of the noble truths, the third of the Eightfold Path, and that is the right speech, to avoid telling lies, to avoid slandering or dividing people, to avoid harsh language or utilizing harsh language, to avoid gossiping meaninglessly. Instead, to speak the truth, to speak to unite, speak skillfully and sweetly, and also speak with good meaning, speak with a purpose to develop more understanding. Then, of course, we have right action, to avoid killing, avoid stealing or taking what is not freely given, avoid any sensual misconduct, any harmful sexual activity, and so forth. Instead, to engage in saving lives and protecting lives, and to be generous and giving, and also to, if you do engage in sexual activity, to do so with care and with trust and confidence and, sharing and purely, in a sense. If you avoid this activity, then continue to do so. And then, of course, you have the right livelihood, which I won't go into all the details of that, but just basically a livelihood that brings benefit or is at least harmless. So you should, what is it now? It's 36, I think. So avoid any activities with your work, livelihood, or even your things like hobbies and sports and so forth. Avoid anything that is harmful and engage in only what brings benefit, or at least, like I said, is harmless. And then, of course, you engage in the higher training of mental development, which is known as meditation, you could say, or concentration. Includes the right effort to maintain a wholesome state of mind and also to relinquish the unwholesome states of mind, to develop this mindfulness or practice mindfulness of the body, of the feelings, the mind, and the mental activities, to develop this one-pointed concentration eventually, okay? As we do this, we help our mind to become more right for the right understanding, the first of the Eightfold Path, and the second of the Eightfold Path, right intentions, which is the wisdom aspect, the first two parts of the Eightfold Path. So right understanding is the direct antidote to uproot ignorance, of course, or lack of understanding. And the right intentions or thoughts is the direct antidote to free our mind and uproot the attachment and aversion. So a mind that is free from greed and anger and so on. And our intentions to be based on reality, in relative reality or conditioned reality. Like I said before, everything's impermanent. If you have wrong view, of course, you think it's permanent, or you live that way, at least anyway. And so practice the Eightfold Path, morality, to help us to develop this ability to meditate and develop our mentality, and then to help us to realize the wisdom, to realize the right understanding, right intentions. And once again, realize true renunciation, the bodhicitta, the great compassionate intention, and the wisdom of emptiness. Now it's 5:39, so I think maybe we finish in less than a minute. So first of all, I say I rejoice in your goodness, encourage you to study and practice and share the Dharma to the best of your ability. Keep a positive attitude in your life, not full of yourself. I say often, if you get puffed up, get egotistical, look at your faults. If you get down on yourself, look at your good qualities. Improve the good qualities and decrease the faults. That's Dharma practice, what to pick up, what to put down, or what to adopt, what to abandon. So next week we get into this last teaching that, everything begins in the mind for a start. And from the last class, we are what we think. And then, of course, everything comes and goes. No coming, no going. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.